Need to celebrate.
Sorry. You can clap again. When you work on games, there are different disciplines working together, like programmers, artists, designers, everyone, production. And sometimes we speak different language. The way we grow up, our education, etc., we have a natural tendency to communicate one way. But we learn to work together and we build bridges between each other. I learned that communication is not about what I say. No. It's about what the other person understands. Yeah. So I get to know the other and the right language to use with that person to make my point across. So eventually artists and programmers and designers and everyone can be really engaging together from a place of mutual understanding, not completely stubborn from their silos. Like here we are all working together all the time. Fully interdisciplinary dynamic, which I think is really cool.
The way the people manager have helped me as a communicator and collaborator is reflect on the way I communicate with teams. To create video games, you have artistically minded people and technically minded people. And to create empathy and mutual respect between them requires you to be precise and diplomatic in your communication. But it's also for you to give back those tools to those teams so they can help each other solve the challenges there is to create games, but also help raise the quality.
This phrase about treating others the way you want to be treated is okay to the point of respect, dignity. Yeah. But you also need to treat them the way they want to be treated. Yeah. Get to know what matters to them, what's important at this point in their career. So each person requires different kind of support, different kind of coaching and mentoring, and we're here to do that. I think one of the fun things here, coming from a different place, Scandinavia, the distance to authority is very flat. Yeah. The relationship with authority is just much more casual. Yeah. But you come from another culture where it could be like the boss. Yeah. And you learn to work together, and slowly we can foster this culture where it's okay to speak up. We can relax about it. Yeah. It has this psychological safety thing where there is no negative consequence about raising your hand and asking a question and disagreeing.
Yeah. We want people to be able to talk to each other and also go up and talk to the CEO or management if there is anything. There is a hierarchy, production-wise. There is a hierarchy, of course there is. But we want people to be able to talk to all levels, to speak up to everybody in the whole company. That's super important, and that can be difficult. I mean, also if you want a lead position at IO, I mean, one of the things we want you to be able to do is not only to lead your team, but to lead upwards. So you take that, and that's not always easy, but it's super important.
I truly feel there's something going on at IO regarding how they treat people, how we treat people. When I first joined, I got a couple of notes about keeping an eye on someone, and it was always on the notes of, hey, I wanted to make sure that this person is doing okay. Yeah. They have a tendency to work too much, and we don't want them to burn out. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. Like, these are the kind of things where, these are the conversations we're having.
We also have an internal anonymous survey tool that we use. And for us, it's to align that we have our finger on the pulse with what's happening. For us, it's very important that the information we take, the vibes we're getting, comes from people, meetings happening on the floor in everyday life. But we can use this tool to see if there's something we're missing, or if we are on the right track with where people are also at. Yeah. For people, it's a tool that if there's something that's very difficult to say, or you need to get wide out into the organization without it being openly on a Friday meeting or something, it's an amazing tool to just like let the organization know.
Oh my God, Louis!
That was a really good
We're so serious over here.
So good tips for collaboration.
Be curious. So the person you're sitting opposite, how come that person works in that way? Why does he or she says what they're saying, and what's going on around the whole situation? To be a little bit, take a step back, not take it so personal, and be curious about what goes on in the team or in another person. I think that's always the advice I try to give, because then you take yourself a little bit out of the equation and look at the problem and the person you're talking to with curiosity, and I think it always helps.
I think another tip for communication and feedback is that we let people know that it's important that they share why they're bringing feedback. Like, why are they coming to the table with something? And usually it's because they're passionate about it, right? They care, but that can sometimes be left out. So it's like, look at this game for reference. And people who are like, why do I need to do that? Is something wrong? It's like, and instead it's very simple. You just go, I think this game is awesome. I really care about what we're doing over here. I think we can learn something from this game. Like, it's just sharing your train of thought to why you're bringing this up can be a very simple tool to keeping it on subject, really. Like, so you're talking about what you're talking about. People know where you're coming from.